Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today it's going to be a game between Hyuk and Fantasy on Neo Aztec 1.2. It is a 3-player map, which is kind of weird. Cross-spawn positions, but I guess every spawn is a cross-spawn position because this is the 3rd spawn location. Alright, so apparently Pin is an alternate ID of Fantasy. I learned Alone versus Pin got a lot of attention 4 weeks ago. It's a TVP featuring carriers and Goliaths. If you'd like to see more of Fantasy, go ahead and click on the link in the top right, and I will direct you there. Go ahead and pause this and watch that, and then watch this. Okay, so left-hand corner, the yellow Zerg player, it is Hyuk. Hyuk, his name is Park J. Hyuk. He has actually used his surname as his player name. He's a StarCraft programmer from Korea. He was playing for SK Telecom T1 back when he was playing pro, started in 2006. He did manage to claim the #1 Zerg position in SK Telecom T1 back in 2008, so spent a lot of time playing the game, getting better and better over time, and there were signs he would eventually become a strong player. 2008, he had some good highlights. He did a triple kill of KTF in the Mobile Rival Battle. The exhibition was an encore for the newly formed Winners League. Managed to take down Flash, Harry, and 815 to bring SK Telecom T1 to victory in the all-kill format. So holy smokes, dude. 2008, man, that's when this kid started doing stuff. Fantasy has a much longer Team Liquid page. He's been around for a much longer time. I get requests to cast his games in the comments, so I assume you know who he is. Just a very accomplished Terran player. He should give Hyuk all he is in for. I don't know actually what year this was played in. If you'd really like to know, ask me in the comments, and I'll see if I can dig it out for you. As part of a replay pack off of teamliquid.net. Anyway, Fantasy here, what's he doing? Nothing too crazy. He's just throwing up his barracks, putting no attempts in a wall whatsoever. What the heck is going on with this map? Let's explore it together. Oh, it's one of these. Okay. It's one of these where the ramp goes down into your base, and then you kind of have like a, I don't know, it's like a valley that you're supposed to build stuff in. It's weird for Terran and Protoss, not so weird for Zerg. They don't care. They don't wall off. They don't care if there's high ground they have to worry about. You'll notice the cliffs are far away, though. So no one can park tanks up here and just wreck your main base. That'd be super annoying. So a wall off with the supply depot. Any lings that come down here cannot get through here, I assume. Just kidding. Totally can. I guess more importantly is walling this off. Let's see. Aztec, you're a strange map. We're going to learn this together. We're going to do this together here. Macro hatch coming up already at the 2.5-minute mark. Out of Hyuk, SCV scouting in to see what he can see. He'll get a full scout of everything that's going on here. Extractor on the way. Dun, 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 dun. Man, I love the Brood War music. Sometimes I just get lost in it. It just adds so much to the game. It's really good. And it's really nostalgic too. I'm trying to remember if this is Terran or Protoss music. Protoss. Absolutely Protoss music. It's more regal. Terran's a little more peppy, like a little more like more guitars and stuff, but you have more classical feeling to what they were trying with Protoss, and it's good. Once again, I don't know why there's Protoss music playing in my TVZ. I don't understand it. Somebody theorized that last time it happened is there was an observer who was Protoss, but there's not an observer in this game, so I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, have no idea. Marine count getting fairly high for Pin. We should start seeing an academy for some medics at some point, but no, not interested in that quite yet. I guess the macro hatch was scouted and saw that Hyuk wasn't planning on anything too nuts in the early stages here, and he is not. He's making a couple Zerglings, but really it's just about getting this lair coming up at his natural base, getting a second extractor here too. We could be looking at Mutaling with that macro hatch. Just a Mutaling opening here against the Marines. The Marines are not as scary without that academy. There it is. Academy coming up for the medics. And Firebats if necessary. Usually Flash doesn't use the Firebats in this early stage. It's just Marine Medic. The control is good enough. But if some Lings show up, it is nice to have a couple Firebats. My goose is cooked. Saying stuff about Goose. +1 attack on the way here for Fantasy. This SCD, I was going to say, has been scouting for a while. Finally gets picked off by these Lings. Metabolic boost is on the way. But it's not done yet. Ling out here to make sure there's not a push out from Fantasy before Hyuk is ready for it. And Zergling's coming in. That's not a good number of Lings. You cannot win with that. I'm just going to go ahead and give my pro suggestion about that one. Academy takes forever to build. 600 hit points on that sucker. And Zerglings, I think, are just going to set up a contain. I can't imagine them trying to win with this number of Zerglings. It's only 6, dude. I guess maybe you can pick off... Nope, you can't pick off anything. There's too many Marines here. Yeah, control click works. So whoever suggested that in a previous one, too. Wait, hold on. Damn it. Okay, sorry about that glitch there. For a second there, it looked like I wasn't recording, but then I was. Sometimes I have a little indicator down here that says I'm recording, and sometimes it's not there. When I am, it's very confusing. Anyway, we're back. We are back. It is a Spire on the way from Hyuk. We've got those medics. We have Stim coming in. The Lings have speed now. They do pick off an SCV, but I just don't see the utility in this necessarily. All the SCVs are healthy. The Marines are fine too. I mean, I guess this does put pressure on Fantasy to where Fantasy doesn't want to move out. There's your Fire Bat. Okay, I do love the Fire Bat entry here. The Lings get too close. Their gooses will get cooked here. 16 damage. And so good against Lings. So good against light units. Including Zealots, actually. So if you're having trouble with Zealots, Fire Bats are a pretty decent way to go, especially if they're in a bunker. I'll always remember that was one of the tips I read about Brood War back in the 90s, was if you're having trouble with Zealot attacks, and if you're playing against the AI, they love to go for this crazy, like, 4 or 5 racks Zealot attack. Bunkers with Fire Bats in them are the god at whose feet you worship, I believe was the quote. Third base coming up north here for Hyuk. He's got 11 mutas in production, so we're going to see this muta harass happening. And really, at this point, I think Fantasy needs to move out. That's something that was taught to me in a previous comment, was that if the Marines move out, they force the mutas to engage with them. But if you just sit here, the mutas pick off stuff on the periphery and just eventually whittle you down to death. You need to force the engagement to happen away from your SCVs, away from your buildings. I guess not necessarily away from your missile turrets. That is 3 missile turrets up here. Pew, 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 pew. Trying to pick off this refinery. Taking missile turret hits regardless, though. Yeah, this is where he goes. This is where Pin decides to move out. He doesn't quite have the Marine count I would have expected to see. There we go. There are more of them. Good split on these guys, too. Not taking as much damage from the Glaive Worm ability. Ling's trying to take these dudes out as well. The medic's healing fairly fantastically, but geez, so much damage comes off of these stacked mutas. Can't heal through it if you basically get one shot, is the lesson here. Hyuk is killing it right now. Oh, he's just absolutely doing very well with his mutas. He's only down to 6. Okay, he lost a bunch of mutas there, but he kept that Marine count dead low, too. How many Marines do we have? It is going to be 7 with 3 more being made. 4 being made at a time right now out of these barracks. Did I just hear? I just heard another Marine go down. Another couple Marines go down. Another couple Marines go down. This is, I don't know if you're overstaying your welcome here. There's 5 mutas here now. There's some Lings pushing on into Ling muta. Pretty scary in the situation. Firebats are gone. Extra DPS being used by these Zerglings quite nicely. And again, just keeping that muta count down is exactly what Hyuk wants to do, while allowing him to establish his third base up north. He's teched into Hydralisks. He's going for a Lurker aspect. I'd say this game is in Hyuk's hands right now, which is a little surprising. I felt like Fantasy would have the upper hand in this game, considering he does have, again, a little bit more of the established resume. But again, this is a Zerg player who took down Flash, Harry, and 815 in a row to go for the all-kill. So, I mean, he has some Zerg potential in him for sure. Firebat harassment on these drones. What on earth? Oh, the stim attack is so fast. Oof. He ends up getting a couple kills there. No big deal. Oh, transferring drones. Get out of there, drones. Don't stack up. Don't stack up. He will catch you and he will roast you alive. That said, drones are pretty fast. Oh, are you actually going to... Juke's back. Some mutas come up to get rid of the guy. As he can't shoot up, he explodes. I always felt like that was a rough death for Firebats when they die. They just explode. Oh crap, Lurker aspect's already done. Those were Lurkers in production. Okay, so Lurkers are already on the way. Tanks on the way here for Fantasy. Getting Science Vessel. That Lurker count, though. I don't know. I don't know. This is really intimidating. That is going to be 7 Lurkers out. Lings and mutas here, too. Got to get that spread on the Marines. They don't take all that splash damage from the Lurkers. Stemming up and actually trying to catch something unawares, but no. Lurkers burrow in. Lurkers get out of there. What are these? Overlords. Overlords that are hiding from something. Okay, so Fantasy, you gotta expand at some point, dude. You gotta win an engagement. This engagement here would be really, really nice. Oh. Here it is. Stim, get. Oh, he had a window. Flash would have got that window. I'm just saying. Flash would have had it. Hyuk's just going for it, though. Having this ramp is not good for you. Having this ramp is really bad for Fantasy. He decides to push out, come back around in this way. Maybe scan, kill some of those lurkers if he knows what's good for him. Stimming on up. And there's your detection. The Marines are trying to get on top of these guys, and it's just not working. Oh, coming up that ramp was a terrible decision. Alright, so the Lurkers decide to pull back out there. 104 to 80 total supply. Third base up and happily running. Got a sunken colony up there in case another Firebat decides to show up and give those drones a hard time. Still, third base anywhere. I do like the tank count. 3 tanks is pretty handy against Ling Lurker. Just that distance is what it's all about. Being able to hit them from a long way away. Hit them with splash for the Lings. Very nice too, but getting right on top of this army. Oh, Scourge taking down the science vessel. Everything getting stabbed on through by these Lurker spines. Are the Lurkers going to die, though? All the Marines are certainly dead, but the Lurkers are taking serious casualties, too. Okay, who won that trade? I mean, most of the army of Fantasy is dead, but also most of the army of Hyuk is also dead, so maybe stalemate. Maybe a bit of a stalemate there. If you have to retreat after winning, you don't feel good about winning. Both players retreated from that engagement, so I'd say they both felt pretty bad about that one. Alright, so 11 minutes in, 91 to 64 supply. Terran player is still up here, but again, a good Zerg is down in the early game, and we'll come back. Given enough time here. Oh, okay. Yeah, Lings, get out of there. What are your upgrades, you guys? Anything? +1 ground carapace is not bad. No tank upgrades on the way. Additional factories. We are fully transitioning into the mech stage of this TVZ. A bit of a marine drop. Oh, they get the Defiler mound. Holy crap, they got the Defiler mound. That was huge. Fantasy needed that. He needed that more than anything. He's trying to get rid of upgrades. I guess the evolution chamber dies here. Is this enough Marines to win this battle? Well, if they're not microed properly, yes, absolutely. That +1 ground carapace really is useful against Marines, as it turns out. Got some spider mines being laid down by dem vultures. Any sign of a fourth base hatching up for Hyuk, just to the right of his top base. Still no third from Fantasy, though. Dude, he's got to do this. He needs to take a third. He cannot be down 4 bases to 2. All right, good. He's building a command center. We're going to probably land it over here. There's a Lurker. 3 Lurkers actually just hanging out, waiting for units to just run past them and die. A couple Lurkers here, too. A little bit hemmed in is Fantasy, I would say. All right, Vultures, where are you at? You don't have speed. Oh, it's almost done. Okay, so Ion Thruster's just about complete here. Here's your Terran music. This always takes me back to the early days of playing Brood War. Oh, dropship. Scourged right on down. Try to get back in that main base again, but Hyuk says, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on your dropship. Okay, so Nubatai's Carapace coming up. Did he replace his Defiler mound? He really needs to have if he didn't. Yes, it's in the main. Doesn't that look gross? What are these, like, crazy spike things coming out of the top? I don't know. I don't understand. Nidus networks here, too. Always finding Nidus canals. Just the green light glowing. I love it. I love the Brood War with all of my heart. Okay, so we got Vultures. We got Spider Mines. We got a third base landed, happily being mined from 2. 121 and 105 supply. Pushing up, killing some Lings, laying down some more Spider Mines. At the very least, it slows down what Hyuk is trying to do if he has to deal with Spider Mines. Super annoying is what it is. Overlord's out here for detection. And for scouting, too. And the Vultures say, well, if we're not actually going to get... Okay, well, just... Hey, one Vulture made it back here and might kill something with his concussive damage. Nope. Oh, it did get a drone. One drone goes down. Vulture ends up giving his life for that, though. So Scout's in, does see the replacement Defiler round because duh. Sees a high number of Defilers, too. Yeah, I think Hyuk is perfectly happy with his life right now. I just heard something load up in an Overlord. Where is it? Are you loaded up? No? Do you have that upgrade? I'm not entirely sure that you do. Alright. Hydra Lurker. Scouting with your barracks. You have a couple barracks you could scout with, don't you? Not anymore. Maybe he's already scouting with them. I don't know. Alright. Hydra's taking out scouting barracks. Picking off those spider mines from distance. More Vulture harassment. So Fantasy's just buying time here with his Vulture harass. Again, it slows down Hyuk's abilities to attack into anything. And I don't know if it's not really helping him necessarily kill the Zerg player, but time is always good. These Marines are absolutely ripping these Hydras apart. Then some Lurkers come in and even the odds a little bit there. Did you get a kill? Credit for a kill? No. Science Vessel did not get credit for that. Oh, now it did. There's your irradiate. Okay, good. I was going to say, didn't get credit for that kill, I'd be very, very upset. Yeah, another barracks scouting on down this way. We've got spider mines all over the place. Vultures here, 144 to 128 supply. Vultures versus Hydras, if they want to engage is the question. Not really. No, they don't. It's a lot of Hydras out here for Hyuk, though. And the spider mines, though. Oh, that was a big hit. Yeah, you gotta be more careful than this, Hyuk. Gotta not just run your Hydras on in there. Gotta be very careful. Maybe bring detection? Vultures trying to sneak on in, getting past these Hydras. Gonna try to get on in here, except there are now, holy crap, 8 Lurkers sitting here. Yeah, the Vultures are like, we can't go in there. We'll absolutely die. You guys have full energy? They sure look like they have all the full energy they've ever wanted in their entire lives. Base up north, happily running. We are making more Zerglings up there too, and it's 140 to 160 again. Fantasy is up. I just don't feel good about his position. He hasn't done a good job harassing units, killing units, winning engagements, which is really kind of what you have to do in a TVZ to win the game towards the late here. He's got another base down south, so I mean, that's good. He's expanding all over the place, which is super useful. Another barracks going to go down to these Hydras. We do have +2 ground carapace, and working on missile attack level 1 up there in the production tab too. Science facility going to die. Big old mech army here. The problem with Hydras is that they really, really suck against tanks. At least until Dark Swarm comes out. Do we have Dark Swarm available? I don't know. These Hydras getting picked off. This might be intentional to free up supply for Hyuk. He is making lings. Tank count here for Fantasy has really a lot. He has a full page of them. That's 12. He's got 12 tanks, possibly more. Couldn't select all of them. I don't know about this. Attacking into this. There's your Dark Swarm. This is your cue to back out a little bit and try to bait the Hydras into attacking into you again, and they are. Absolutely. A plague goes down a lot of these tanks, a lot of these Vultures too. There's your scan to see if there's anything that you want to kill. Lurker was close. Ooh, another Dark Swarm. Gets on up. Get out of there. Run. Mech army, no. Fantasy, why? Okay, well, splash damage, I guess, is the answer. Ooh, Defiler picked off too. Nice little hit. Plagued his own Overlord, which is bad news bears. That's 148 to 134 supply. And a bit of a quiet moment here. Still making a million things is... Actually, is that Charm Booster? Why are we going for anti-air? What did you see that makes you think there's going to be Guardians out? I don't know why else you would get Goliaths with the Charm Booster upgrade. I guess to kill Overlords. If there's Drop Lords you're worried about causing you problems, maybe later. I don't know. Ooh, oh, Plague catching a couple of those Vultures, but these are effectively free units. I don't think Fantasy cares about these Vultures all that much. He can make another whole batch of them very, very quickly. They're very cheap. They're a mineral dump regardless. And here comes your drop. Okay, I thought I heard some drop actions. Some shenanigans coming on here at an attempted 5th base by Fantasy. Lurker's getting on in. Some Lings on top of the Marines too, and this base is toast. Absolutely, this base is donezo. Coming in, I guess maybe you could irradiate all of these? Yep, gonna irradiate all of them. Just donating some of these Lurkers, no big deal. Another attempted second drop here at the 4th base down south. Splash damage from the tanks, doing some good work. Actually, this Defiler, I don't know if it wants to stick around. And they're, okay, so the Goliaths are being used to kill these Overlords. Another Lurker goes down. Don't leave the Defiler. The Defiler's dead too. So fairly well held at the 4th base. The 5th base is back up and running too, thanks to these hero science vessels throwing that irradiate down. Here come the Hydralisks though. Running into more spider mines. Don't do it. Don't run into these spider mines. Oh, we've got it. Got that one. Okay, another Overlord going down. I guess it's just for the scouting potential. Tanks setting up in siege mode. No, Hydras, get out! Okay, well, there's the Plague, and there's the Dark Swarm. Yeah, again, Defilers really, really change everything about this game. don't they? The tank count, though. Dude, you got to be in siege mode if you're going to kill these guys. You need that splash damage. Hurrah, hurrah. 136 to 170 supply. Hyuk has taken a massive lead. But at the same time, Fantasy won that engagement, I would say. His tanks do have +2 attack right now. And if you keep making hydras against tanks, you're going to lose it eventually, Hyuk. Let's see what you got. There's nothing in these, right? Please tell me these are... No, there's actually stuff in one of these. One of these had stuff. Clicking them is hard. Urgh. Nothing is going on up there, right? Maybe I hallucinated. None of these have anything going on? I guess not. Suppose not. Fantasy marching up north, trying to get rid of these 2 bases. Some hydras unsupported are just going to die here. Once again, not bothering to put his tanks into siege mode at all. You have a Defiler with you. Where your Defiler is at, Hyuk. Alright. Ooh, don't go in siege mode now. The Lings just showed up. Okay, there's your Defiler. There's your Dark Swarm. There's your Plague. Here's your Goliaths. That Defiler's gonna die, but these Lings are gonna do tons of work against this plagued group of units. This tank has 2 kills. He's doing alright for himself. Roar. And he's dead. Alright, so good hold there. Defiler again, making all of the difference. Defiler getting irradiated down. You literally can't kill these Hydralisks. Why are they on hold position? They're not responding to being killed by this Goliath. Alright, another drop here at the 5th base of Fantasy. Gonna lose some more stuff. SCV's actually fighting. Science Vessel's coming back to get rid of these Lurkers, which are causing some minor problems. I don't think that came from these guys. Nah, these guys they're done. They are retired. I can tell you that much. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. More Hydras walking into spider mines. Oh, Defiler, don't get hit by a spider mine. That is not a good way to go, man. Well, this has turned into a pretty interesting, pretty good back and forth game. I never know. Before I click on them, I don't look at them before I cast them. So setting up reinforcements to try to defend up here in case the next attack comes from that direction. But this just middle setup of tanks is really scary. Don't come in here, Hydras. Not until the Dark Swarm is present. There we go. Get out. Get out. Oh, the Mass Queen. Hyuk is going for the Mass Queen play where you can Broodling down the tanks. I've talked about this before. One player actually did it in a game that I cast. It was a really good TBZ too. It was amazing. I guess maybe that's what the Goliaths are for, is maybe try to finish these ugly, ugly queens up. They're so gross. I know Zerg is mostly gross, but seriously, you got a bit of an attack up here north. And you're just Broodling down some stuff here. Oop, irradiate, irradiate, irradiate. Some tanks going down first. Bam, 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 bam. Broodlings. Broodlings all day, but all the queens die. That was actually a good pickup by Fantasy. Sure lost a few tanks, but all of those spellcasters, those very, very expensive spellcasters, ended up dead. Bases in the top left here for Hyuk, who's effectively split the map in half here. Don't walk into these tanks without Dark Swarm. All right, well, oh, another group of, what the, more queens? More irradiate, more irradiate. And that is definitely enough to kill a queen with 1 irradiate, even if they're otherwise healthy here. Good Dark Swarm drop here at the 3rd base of Fantasy. That's some pretty good stuff. Oh, the queen's taking shots, not what they want to do. As it turns out, these guys need to get in here. Do they have any irradiates available? Some. Maybe. No. There we go. Okay, so irradiate on this base. It did get hurt, but it's alive. Did this one get irradiated? Oh, it did. Okay, eventually. We got there eventually. The Defiler got irradiated first before that one, as it is a priority. Ooh, taking some spider mine hits there. This is why Fantasy keeps replenishing these spider mines. It's the Hydras keep running into them. Oh, some Lurkers died of spider mines. That is not something you see every day. That was horrible. Ouch. Absolutely ouch there for Hyuk. 188 to 121 supply, though. What's our tank count out? Is it healthy enough to deal with these Hydras? Where is the Dark Swarm? I'm not kidding. I need the Dark Swarm here. These Goliaths are doing way too much damage here. Dude, is Fantasy going to come back on this? Another drop. Another Hydra Defiler drop here. Got a Plague down. That command center is going to die. I mean, honestly, if you just wait for it to... Okay, get down to 1 hit point. Be good. Another Lurker drop down here. Lurker versus Goliath. Who wins that? Looks like Goliath, actually. Well, as long as the upgrades are good. +3 and +2. Another attempted attack here from Fantasy. Moving on up. Got Hiders to the left side, Hiders to the right side, but Siege Mode is up on these guys, and there is not a Defiler in sight right now. So, all right, that was a good win. Good win there by Fantasy. Continuing to push up with these tanks. He might be able to get these 2 bases if he plays his cards right. Irradiate on the Hydras. Ooh, they're packing up there a little bit, too. Where did those queens go? Did those queens all die? Hydras attacking down at the 3rd base. Attack to the top left still going on here too. Hydras moving on to the 4th base. Some tanks trying to bait the Hydras to attack this tank and then walk into these ones too. That's actually pretty good positioning by Fantasy. I like it very much. And then additional tanks are present, still pushing on up to the space in the top right-hand corner. The Goliaths are going to try to take it down by themselves. They do have that +3 attack. This 4th base is toast though. Are there enough Hydras to make this thing happen? I do actually know. If they do, I cannot believe how back and forth this game has turned out. Oh boy. Alright, so Hatchery gonna fall. This one likely to. The tanks are just leaving. We're leaving the Goliaths to deal with this by themselves. The tanks say we need to go home and kind of secure the homeland a little bit here. Still, the income has just got to be through the roof for Hyuk. He lost that base, sure. Where did your Goliaths go? No, there's a base down here. Oh, I don't think he knew. Oops, Spider Mines again on Hydras. That has been the recurring theme here. Here comes the Queen Brigade. Oh, and the Broodlings doing work, too. They have +3+. They benefit from upgrades. They're harming these tanks a little bit. Wow, that's amazing. Broodlings a little strong. Little strong there. All right, so it's 155 to 92 supply. I really feel like if Fantasy had pushed down and killed this base, he'd be in a better position. But he didn't. He chose not to. Finally clearing out this Lurker and this Defiler, but not before a play goes down on all of these Science Vessels. A Muta's on the way. A single Mutalisk is on the way because he knows he can kill all these Science Vessels by himself if he catches it at the right position. Coming in with some +3/+2 Vultures. Do there some drones up there? Where are you going? I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to do. Okay. Too many tanks. You've killed a lot of tanks, but there are still a bajillion of them. And by a bajillion, I mean at least 10 here. Defensive Matrix going down on these tanks. So they don't take as much damage. The Defilers are out in the open, though. They go down. Hydra's getting rid of this 3rd base from Fantasy, though. Ah, the Hydras with their 3-2 doing so much work. Vulture, Spider Mines trying to get some hits off there, too, though. Plague happening on a couple of these tanks. APM is over 200 for these players. There is so much going on. I don't know how. I honestly don't know how they managed to get all of this done as long as they've gotten it done. Another Lurker drop here from Hyuk. Rawr, 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 rawr. Vultures coming up to see what's going on. Yes, there's absolutely a base there. How about you scout this base? How about you do that? Trying to hold the top of the ramp here. As the Lurkers get cleared out of the 3rd base location, 4th base location. 3rd base is done. 5th base is done. I mean, income, as you can see here for Fantasy, is very, very small. I just don't see him coming back from this. Tanks are up, man. Tanks are up. Lings are here, too. It's just too much. It is just too much, sir, coming from all directions, and that is it. Your good game out of Fantasy, and your winner today is Hyuk. Wow. All right. Great job. Great job by Hyuk getting the win. The constant drop harass was incredible from him. I haven't seen that much drop from a Zerg in a very, very, very long time. That's basically what killed the 5th base and the 4th base both, were just drops. He did some drops at the 3rd, too. The Queens worked for him, keeping that tank count down low enough, and eventually he was able to win versus tanks just with straight-up Hydra. There just weren't enough tanks to really make him pay for using that strategy. He never lost. He lost a single base. Never lost these ones in the top right, which I think was incredibly important for him. Was able to defend on time exactly when he needed to. And lost just basically a Defiler's Mound here in the main, and that was it. So let's check out the final stats. And it's going to be 792 units produced by Hyuk. 504 respectable by Fantasy. Killed 584 of them. And 400 killed by Hyuk. That is just dead impressive there. Resources, too. Again, Hyuk across the board. 20,000, 53,000, 71,000 to 14, 40, and 54. Hyuk takes the lead for sure. Again, not losing those bases was critical for his win. All right, well, that is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.